I believe every one of us who is actually watching this live telecast has a name. Now, the most important here is that what is the meaning of your name? The name you actually give to your children. Were you even bothered in a second just to cross check the meaning of the name that you actually give to your children? You yourself personally, the name your parent actually gave to you, have you taken your time to cross check it? Sometimes the phoneme and the grapheme of the name may sound soothing to human ears, but behind the tantalizing sound of your name, what is the forces behind? The energy that operates behind your name, what is it? Have you cross-checked it? Because I am telling you that the name you bear in life can go on a long way to have a consequent deleterious effect on you personally, as far as human existential quandaries is involved. Now you must be understand that name is not mere names or maybe an appealing convenience, like we just gave name to people for no reason. Names, as you see, it goes beyond the physical. Now, in the ethereal realm of human existence, the name that each and everyone bears plays a significant role. As a matter of fact, names possesses some forces, and sometimes some of the actions that we do portray in society are driven by the sort of names that we carry individually. Sometimes the origin of the names, the forces behind it, the very culture to which it actually originated from. Some of all these things can affect our life either positively or negatively. So you can't just listen to the phoneme and the grapheme of somebody's name and felt the name is very sweet to your hearing. So probably because of that, you name your child or you give your child that said name. Before you give a name to somebody, you must make sure you cross-check on all angles the psychosocial impact, the philosophical impact, everything as far as human existence is concerned. Because if care is not taken, now the name you give to your child can have a total dominant. There is, as I've told you earlier on, that every name possesses a force. Every name has a force, either positive or negative force, working seriously behind every name. So you see, you cannot just name your children, or you yourself, you can't give yourself to a certain name just like that. You can't own yourself out to be called by certain names, probably because you think that it's a mere appealing convenience. So you own yourself to be called certain kind of names. Now, when you cross-check the Bible, right from the Old Testament to the New Testament, you could see that there were certain people in the Bible to which, before they were able to access the throne room blessings, as far as the divine counsel is involved, these people, their names were changed because their name were actually having some significant impact negatively on them. And by the forces operating behind the names that these said individuals were bearing, it were preventing them, the names were preventing these people from getting favor, mercy, and the glory of God upon themselves. So when you sit down and give it a thought deeply about whatever statement that I've just made concerning certain people in the Bible whose name were actually changed before they were able to access certain blessings, then it goes on to confirm that if care is not taken, you might take certain names unto yourself, and probably because of your name, you will endure pain till you die, and probably because of your name, you will never live long. Some of you people, your name will cut you short in life. Some of you people, your name will become like a stumbling block, a force that will tend to pull you back. So probably because of some of these instances, you might be you should be very careful anytime you're giving a name to your child. Now, there are about countless millions and billions of names out there, but you see, because of what has happened in human history, where some part of certain people had the privilege to colonize certain people in certain dimensions across some part of Africa, America, Asia, and certain continents. People living in this environment were colonized by their colonial masters. And sometimes some of these individuals living in this hemisphere, they bear the names of their colonial masters. You understand what I'm saying? So, probably because some of these individuals, they actually bear the names of their colonial masters, they are not yet, and if necessary, well understood the meaning of the sort of names that they bear. Sometimes, some of the names that they bear, they were forced to be given such names as far as human slavery and that colonialism is involved. Some of the names that some of you people bear in society, you were forced to bear it. Your predecessors, your great-grandparents, right from your genealogy, anybody who actually bears that name was actually forced. Why? Because of slavery and stuff like that. These our slave masters, they intentionally deleted our names just to get us locked and prevent us from accessing our root. When you go to America, as I speak with you right now, there are so many Americans who are blacks who bear certain names. But when you trace down deeply, you could see that majority of these black Americans who lives in the United States, most of these people, they originated from the African continent. But why all of a sudden they have lost touch with their roots, bearing certain names? And sometimes when you look at the phoneme and the grapheme, I mean the sound of some of these people, their names, it's very funny. But whatever reason that it may be, they bears it. So you see, names are something that you cannot joke with it. Names are something that you cannot joke with it. Once you bear certain names, the forces behind it will work against you. Now, as I told you earlier on, names can be derived from our culture. Names can be derived from certain incidents, certain actions that has happened. For instance, when you come to the country called Ghana in the continent of West Africa, I don't necessarily know much about the other tribes, but as far as Amarakan and Ashanti, to be precise, there are certain names that we do give to people based on the condition and action that has transpired. Names like Bediakon, Bediako actually carries volume, means you are here as a warrior to fight. So you see, sometimes if you don't have the feet, if you don't have the nerve to stand on your feet and fight, for the fact that you bear the name Bediako should tell you that you are here in this particular world to fight as human. Names like Ajimai, once you are Ajimai in life, you should understand that there is a force backing the name Ajimai, and Ajimai goes on to confirm that you are a warrior who is here to liberate a certain given society or a certain specific individuals. You are here to liberate people, whatever form the liberation might be, either financially, psychologically, physically, spiritually, whatever the sort of liberation that it may be. Bear it in mind that once you are called Ajimai, it means you are a warrior and you are here to liberate certain people. And probably because of that, there are certain forces that backs some of these names. The same thing also implies when you go to the northern sector, when you go to the voter land, the Ga people, the Krobos, and these Nzemas, the Fantis, the Achims, the Kriapings, everybody has a meaning regarding whatever sort of name that they bear. Now, in the Akan tribe, in the Ashantis to be precise, well, as I've already told you that I don't necessarily know much about the other tribes. That is why I am using my tribe as an example. So please don't get me wrong, okay? Now, there are certain names that we do give to certain people, like Bekon. Bekon means you are here to suffer, you are here to struggle, you are here to fight. So Bekon, Bediako, and Ajimai, they have a similar assignment in life. Similar assignment in life. But when it comes to the Bekun has some forces like a curse, a force that fights anybody who bears that name, because the force operating behind that said name Bekun will make you wallow in the pool of impecuniosity and long suffering if care is not taken. You suffer a lot once you are called Beko. You experience life inconveniences and stuff like that, life uncertainties, the boisterous moment. All these things will befall you because you bear that name Beko. So you see, you can't just wake up and feel that, oh, I love this man because I've had an encounter with the person, as how Adunya says when he was born, he actually came to meet the name Adunya, and they have not necessarily taught him the meaning of the name Adunya. Why? Because he was named after a king, and he never met the presence of the king here on earth. When he was brought into the world, the king had already taken the bucket. Some of these things goes on to confirm that once you don't know the meaning of the name that you bear it in mind that there will be a force that will fight you. Because as I told you, names are not mere appealing convenience. Names goes beyond, and it permeates certain dimensions, psychologically, philosophically, spiritually, physically. Looking at names from these four dimensions should tell you that names plays a significant role. Have you sat yourself down and asked yourself questions why when people make mention of your name, whether you are in a public gathering, in a church, in a party centers, wherever that you find yourself, or in a public space where your name is being made mention, look at how you shiver spiritually or emotionally. Sometimes you feel some electric shock anytime that you hear your name. It should tell you that that sort of feeling, that sort of electric shock that you do experience anytime that your name is being mentioned, should tell you that there is a force operating behind that said name that you bear. And you see, the saddest aspect of it is that majority of we Africans, especially the black people, we actually have an English name. And as such, the English name. Now, the English name, we term it as your Christian name. Once you are a Christian, you are a believer. I don't know who actually instilled that into this Christendom, being it that once you are being baptized, you must be given a different name. I don't know who brought about that idea, but it is never part of it. All those that Jesus got them baptized in the olden days, he never got anybody name. It's just that he only interchanged some of the people who were actually bearing names that were spiritually driven negatively. I'll cite an example in the scriptures for you to know what exactly that I'm saying. So you see, in the continent of Africa, especially West African states to be precise, once you are born again, it is assumed you must get unto yourself an English name. So we have diverse forms of English names. But you see, as how we the Africans, we have certain names that operate on a different way, in a negative way. The same thing also implies to the white people. These Western people, they also have a name that operates by a negative or a dark force. So once you call yourself that, once you give your name to that said name, it means you have allowed yourself for that said spirit operating behind the name to have total dominance, to have a seat in your life to operate. So get that. So let's see something. Now, let's see something right from the Bible before we proceed on to the next phase of our live stream tonight. Now, First Chronicles chapter 4. Please, if you have your Bibles with you, let's quickly go into the Bible. First Chronicles chapter 4. If you have your Bibles with you, let's see something about a wonderful man who was actually bearing some name and what it actually led him into. First Chronicles chapter 4, verse number 9. I am reading my own. I believe you also have your Bibles with you, so you can as well do cross-check it out. First Chronicles chapter 4, verse 9 to 10. And here it is. It says, and Jabez was more honorable than his brethren, and his mother called his name Jabez, saying, because I bear him with sorrow. You see, as I told you in the early beginnings of our teachings, I told you that names can be influenced by conditions and actions that has transpired. So some of you people, your name were derived from certain incidents and actions that did happen. So you see, the name Jabez was given to him because the mother felt she had been through a lot. She went through pains before giving birth to him. So you see, now this name Jabez that was given to this young man, probably because the mother felt she had been through a lot of life uncertainties, and probably because of that, she actually gave Jabez that name. Now, look at what actually happened. The name was preventing this young man from becoming successful in life. The name Jabez that was actually given to him by the mother went a long way to have a consequent deleterious effect on the life of this wonderful man. So he tried at all means to become successful in life, but whatever actions that he initiated proved futile. So what he actually did was that he had to go back, sit down, and check the meaning of the name that he actually bears. Until then, that he actually got to find out that the name Jabez means he was actually being brought to the world out of sorrow. So it is only sorrow and pains that will follow him till the day he dies. So seeing to all these things, he understood that if care is not taken, he's not going to be blessed. So he had to engage the heavens in his matter, being it that he bears a name that doesn't warrant him to become successful. So when you read the verse 10, it says, and Jabez called unto the Lord of Israel, saying, oh, that thou wouldest bless me indeed, and enlarge my coast, and that thy hand might be with me, and that thou would keep me from evil, that it may not grieve me. And God granted him that which he requested. You see, a guy who was of age, nothing was moving on well for him, probably because of his name. Sometimes you get to a certain age in life and things will become very difficult. And sometimes when you sit down to pray, and if you are fortunate enough to hit the higher realms and revelations are made known to you, you realize that there are certain names that you bear in life that fights you respectively. I'm telling you the truth. There are certain names that you bear in life that fights you respectively. So sometimes where you actually want the Spirit of God to enlarge in your territories, to bless you, it's like you want to expand, and the name that you bear says no, because of what you carry, the name that you carry. Limitations has been placed on you. You can't operate beyond a given terrain, the dimensions to which your name gives you the rightful permit to operate. You can't exceed it. There are certain names which fight us. It tends to become a blocking wall, blocking us to access certain dimensions. And this and many more are the reasons why some of you people, no matter what you have done, you have prayed, you have fasted, you have done everything that you could, but yet still, you have still remained stuck at one point because of the name that you bear. You see, now another wonderful thing, there are some names that I've actually penned it down here. Now, let's see something. A name like Kennedy, assuming your husband getting you impregnated, conceiving in your womb, carrying the child for 9 months, and after birth, you name the child after Kennedy. What are you trying to tell me? The name Kennedy, the meaning of it, it doesn't sound appealing at all. The name Kennedy, it doesn't sound appealing at all. How on earth would you name your child Kennedy? Because Kennedy simply means a crooked head. So why would you name your child a crooked head? For what? Kennedy means helmet head. You see? Kennedy means helmet head. Kennedy. The name Kennedy means helmet head. So why would you name yourself? You name your child Kennedy because the name sounds, you see, as I told you, the phoneme and the grapheme of the name Kennedy, it sounds appealing conveniently to you. That is why you name your child after that said name. But I am telling you, if you are to cross-check the origin of the name Kennedy, it will tell you that it is not worth of it for you to give birth and give it to your child. Why is it supposed to be that? 9-month journey. you conceive, go through all this hardship, wallow in sufferings, countless of troubles that will before you give birth. Some of you people, you even exceeded the 9 months. Some of you on the 10th, on the 11th, on the 12th month, that is where you were able to give birth. Some of you people, in the natural way, you were not able to give birth in that said ways, but you actually went through a cesarean section where they did surgery before they were able to bring the child out. And going through all this, you have the guts to name your child Kennedy. Why? Because you deemed it fit to name your child or to give your child that same name, Kennedy. A crooked head. How? I don't get it. I don't get it. A crooked head. A crooked head. And because the head is crooked, it will only earn you a problem. John F. Kennedy in America, in the history of America, when he became the president, he was assassinated. John F. Kennedy, because the head was crooked, a crooked head, a helmet head, a head that is not beautiful. That is what they are trying to mean. So, how would you give birth and name your child, especially your male boy, somebody to which you, the man, you deem it fit to succeed you, then you name the person Kennedy? You see? So please, sometimes the name you carry in life will take you to certain places. The name you carry in life will block you from accessing certain dimension. So please, in case you don't know, today you are very fortunate to know what the name Kennedy means. And as a matter of fact, when you trace the origin of the name Kennedy, it speaks a lot. And how those people who actually bear the name Kennedy, how the name influences them for them to operate. I was actually cross-checking it, and when I discovered certain information and compared to the few Kennedys that I know across the global world, in fact, the name speaks a lot of volumes. It confirmed that truly the name happens to carry certain dark energy operating behind it. So please, in case you don't know, tonight you are very fortunate to have discovered that today henceforth, no matter how tantalizing the name sounds, no matter how appealing the name sounds, never try to do that. Now, there is another name called Caleb. Caleb. Caleb means a dog. You give birth to your boy, your handsome, energetic boy, that you name him a dog. A dog. How can I impregnate my own wife? Then after my wife delivers, then I name my beautiful boy Caleb, which means a dog. Ha. Caleb. A dog. A dog. A dog. Why is it supposed to be that? It is so... now, Duncan, somebody who bears the name Duncan, it means you suffer a lot because it means a dark warrior. Duncan, a dark warrior. You will suffer a lot, no matter whom you are. You will go through a lot in life because you bear the name Duncan. It means a dark warrior. So you go through in the hands of the evil forces. You go through in the hands of the evil forces. You go through a lot. You go through a lot. Duncan means dark warrior. You see, if you are not strong, or neither do you have the nerves to stand on your feet and operate in a dimension of the dark realm, why should you worry yourself to name your child or give it a name Duncan? You better check that, okay? Now, James, as how people will say in the English version, James means rival. How can you be rival in life? You can never be rival in life. You can never be rival in life. Why? You can never have a rival in life. That is why I told you that some of the names that we have was derived from actions and sins that actually did transpire. Now, Margaret Owusu says, Papa, there was a prophet in the Bible called Caleb. There is no single prophet in the Bible called Caleb. There is no single prophet. No single prophet in the Bible called Caleb. There is no single prophet. There is no single. But rather, there were certain people during the times of Joshua, who were leaders called Caleb. And the Bible never praised Caleb for being called Caleb. The Bible never stated anywhere in scriptures where the name Caleb was being praised. So for the fact that you have the name Caleb doesn't necessarily mean you should take it and give it to your child. There are so many names in the Bible that you have to cross-check it before you name your sons after. You understand what I'm saying? So if there were leaders in the olden days bearing that name, it doesn't necessarily mean you should give your children that names. You see? Now, let's assume you give your beautiful daughter a name like Jennifer. Why should you give birth to a beautiful daughter and name her Jennifer? Jennifer simply means white ghost or white spirit. Why would you name your child a white ghost? Why? And the name Jennifer, it sounds so appealing, so nice. So probably because of that, you will not even bother to cross-check the name. You just move ahead and name your child just like that. Jennifer. Why? Hey, I'm sorry, Jennifer Piasante. Hey, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. I never knew you were online watching me. Jennifer, I'm very sorry, okay? Oh, yeah, I'm very sorry. You were a white ghost. White ghost. That's so good. At least we have a ghost in our midst. I'm very sorry. Hey, your pata for your mouth. But truth be told, Jennifer simply means white ghost. So are you a ghost? And do you know the implications and the consequences to which any of these said names that I've made mention, when you bear in life, what it will bring onto you? Do you know the implications, the consequences of it when you do bear any of the names that I've made mention right now? Do you know the consequences that you face in life? The troubles that you go through? Do you know the troubles? And sometimes some of you people, the name that you bear in life, it doesn't go along with the destiny that you carry. Some of you people are heroes, heroines. You are kings and queens. you govern certain territorial areas, and the name that you were supposed to be giving, that is not exactly how you were being called. Don't forget, when Hagar, before he even conceived Ishmael, there was a name prepared in heaven for him. So the name Ishmael, it wasn't given to Ishmael by Abraham. It was an angel of the Lord who brought the name Ishmael from the divine realm to be given unto Ishmael. The same thing also implies when Abraham was able to impregnate Sarah, an angel of the Lord actually appeared to him and then gave him the name Isaac. So you see, the name Ishmael was given to Ishmael probably because of the reason why he was brought here on earth. And Isaac, the name Isaac was given to Isaac, the son of Sarah, probably because of what he was being brought here to do. So sometimes, based on what you were supposed to do, based on what you are supposed to do here on earth, the destiny that you carry, the star that you carry in life, that is exactly how you are supposed to be called. The destiny you're supposed to carry, what you were brought here to do. Don't forget, Samson, the name Samson was given to him probably because he was here on assignment. It was the Holy Spirit who actually brought Samson here on earth. So you can't just give birth and decide to be naming your children, giving yourselves all sorts of names just like that without cross-checking the origin, the actions, the forces that actually operates behind some of these names. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Jennifer, the white ghost. You can't do that, okay? Another one, so pathetic. Why would you give birth to a bouncing and so beautiful girl and call her Cecilia? Such an aberrative action, so appalling. It's not nice. It's not nice. Why should you call your daughter Cecilia? Cecilia simply means blind or somebody who cannot see well in life. So don't you think that the name Cecilia will fight you? Cecilia simply means blind or somebody who cannot see well in life. Cecilia, you call yourself Cecilia. Why? Is it by force? Bearing various forms of indigenous names, and yet the meaning and the forces operating behind these names is not something that you love to see. Automatically, Cecilia, the forces behind it, which says a blind person or somebody who cannot see well, then it goes on confirm that automatically you will actually experience some of these life uncertainties. The name itself will make you go through a lot because the name says you can't see well. So in the labyrinthine corridors of human existence, you will never find a way to navigate your way out through life intricacies once you bear the name Cecilia. Cecilia, imagine Cecilia. You see, it's not nice. It's not nice. It's not nice. Now, Mara, I've been hearing and seeing so many white ladies in the Western world who are called Mara, which simply means bitter. So why would you give your daughter such name, Mara? Especially some of these telenovelas, some of you women, the telenovelas that you have been watching, you pick names out of it and give it to your children. Why is it supposed to be that? Why is it supposed to be that? Now, Mary means sorrow. Mary means sorrow. Now, when we talk about Mary, I am not talking in respect to the mother of Jesus. Now, you have been made to believe that the name of Jesus' mother was Mary, but it was never true. It is never true. There is a vast difference between Mary and Miriam. Miriam is the said name that was given to the mother of Jesus. The mother of Jesus never bears anything relating to Mary. Mary means sorrow. Mary means sorrow. Now, imagine somebody who bears the name Emilia, Emily, Amalia. All these names simply means you are a rival. You are a rival. So automatically, the force that follows the name Emilia, which originates in a Latin and a Germanic genealogy, the name Emilia, Emily, or Amelia originated from the Latin and then a Germanic genealogy, and it simply means rival. So once you are called Emily, it will be very difficult for you to marry. And when you marry, automatically you must get a rival. There is a woman who will come and attach herself to your marriage. You will go through a lot. You will wallow in long suffering in your own marriage. You will shed tears because the forces operating behind the name Emily says you must get a rival. You must get a rival. So no matter what, you will get a rival. Sometimes the things we go through and this life uncertainties, we go through probably because of the name that we carry in life. So you see, why should you call yourself Emily or Emilia or Amalia? All these names has its origin right from the Latin and then the German. So please cross-check your souls very correctly before anything happens. Now, somebody called Claudia. Why should you call yourself Claudia? Because Claudia simply means the lame or the crippled. You see, the name Claudia sounds very appealing, so tantalizing, suiting your hearing, but it simply means the lame or the cripple. So one way or the other, that lame spirit will fight you in every aspect of your life, either in your marriage, in your finances. You become crippled financially because your name Claudia says you are a lame person. So you will not get that wings to fly at a higher altitude financially because you are crippled. You will not have that power, that zeal to operate in certain dimensions because your name says you should be crippled. Your name says you should be crippled. Your name says you are lame. So Claudia, there are forces that will fight you in life. Where you're supposed to get you in life, you will not get there. Forces out there will fight you because your name says you should be lame. And once you are crippled and stuck at one point, nothing will move on in your life, financially, in terms of health-wise. You see? Now, Calvin. Imagine calling somebody Calvin. There is a difference between Kelvin and Calvin. The Calvin is spelled C-A-L-V-I-N. It means bald. In the Chi we say tipaye. Omo mutiri apa. Oto ba Calvin church na pampamu apa. So why are you supposed to name your son, give your son this sort of names? Whilst there are so many names out there that carries a good energy. Please check that. Now, Another name, Simon. Why are you supposed to give birth and name your child Simon? Simon. Though I think we have Simon on Semensa. I think in the MPP regime, we had a regional minister in Ashanti region who was called Simon Osemensa. And when you cross-check the meaning of Simon, and then as compared to this said regional minister, you will see that indeed names carries power and speaks a lot of volumes. Why? Because Simon means somebody with a flat nose. Flat nose. Obi okasa obobo ne hwene. Simon as a obi okasa obobo ne hwene. Simon. So you see, imagine going through all these 9 months heresies, the tribulations and things you go through, and only for you to give birth to a bouncing baby boy, then you name him Simon, which simply means flat nose. Why? Why? Oh my goodness. Why is it supposed to be that? Why is it supposed to be that? Why is it supposed to be that? You can't be giving your children names just like that. If you understand what I'm saying. Now, Melvin, it's very nice name. It sounds so appealing. But let me tell you, Melvin simply means bad town. Melvin simply means bad town. So why would you give your baby boy Melvin? Why would you give your baby girl a name Melvin? Melvin simply means bad town. Kruboni. A Kruboni. So why? Okay. Nana J. Senior says, indeed, Papa Simon Cowell of American Got Talent speaks like that. Okay, good. 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 Melvin sounds so tantalizing, so appealing, conveniently, but it means bad town. Now we've had a testimony from Nana J. Senior. He says, indeed, Papa Simon from the American Got Talent, he speaks like that, as if he has flat nose. So you see, you can't call your bouncing baby boy Simon, or else he will definitely have a flat nose. Okay, so Melvin sounds so appealing, but behind the name Melvin, there is a force which states that it means a bad town. So once you carry that name, that said negative energy that destroys destiny, rendering it and putting it asunder, will follow you in life, making you look very bad in life. And then Rebecca. Now when you read Genesis chapter 27 verse 16, the meaning of Rebecca, absolutely the actions that they said Rebecca, to which Isaac got married to, will tell you that indeed names have power and influences human behavior. Now, Rebecca simply means a trap, a trap. Now, the question in here is that when you read Genesis chapter 27, verse number 16, you could see that indeed, if they say Rebecca simply means a trap, then it confirms the behavior of Rebecca in the Bible, where Rebecca set a trap for Esau. It was Rebecca who actually outfitted to Jacob that he should kill a sheep and use the skin to cover himself, and go to the presence of his father Isaac to receive blessings that were purported for Esau. All these ideas and the said actions initiated by Jacob, the main agent behind it, the big brain behind it, was Rebecca. And Rebecca means a trap. So which means the actions of Jacob and Esau's mother confirms the meaning of the said name Rebecca. So Rebecca is a trap. It's a trap. Now, Gideon means a destroyer. Gideon means a destroyer. Because of his name destroyer, that is why God actually called him and told him to lead the Israelites to go and destroy cities. So Gideon means a destroyer, or to cut down, to cut something down, to cut down. Gideon means to cut something down or to destroy something. And when you look at the name Gideon right from the Bible perspective, you could see clearly that indeed the name speaks a lot of volumes, because all the things that Gideon did, he was hewing down nations, bringing down and cutting people down, and as the name defines. So if you are here to cut or destroy things, you can absolutely take the name Gideon, because that's how perfectly it defines you. Nana J says, Papa, Auntie Becky in my former church did the same, and it didn't go well for his son, and it ended him in cells for weeks. Wow. Okay, that is very interesting. You see, so get that. Colin, somebody called Colin. It simply means young dog. So get that, okay? Now, Jacob, when you read the Bible carefully, you could see that Jacob is not a nice name. But I've been seeing countless of people bearing that name. And Jacob simply means a supplanter. Somebody who deploys a treacherous means to take something that doesn't belong to him. That is the meaning of Jacob. Somebody who deploys a treacherous means to take something that doesn't belong to him. So you see, when the angel of the Lord was sent to bestow blessings unto Jacob, he says, the name that you bear, I can't give you that name. So I have to change your name to Israel. So when you read Genesis chapter 32, verse 28, let's see something from the book of Genesis. So the name of Jacob was changed from Jacob to Israel. Now, Genesis chapter 32 verse 28, it says, and he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed. You see? So even Jacob himself, before he was able to access the blessings of the Lord, his name Jacob had to be changed. How much more you? Now let's see something. Genesis 25. Genesis 25, verse 26. If you have your Bibles with you, Genesis 25, verse 26. Here's it. It says, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bear them. You see? So here is exactly why they called him Jacob, because when they were giving birth, they saw Jacob pulling the heel of his brother. So Jacob sometimes can also means backbiter, somebody who hide behind scenes to instigate and fight people. So get that. Now, Nana J says, Papa, by blood, brother who comes after me is called Jacob. And Papa, unless you come in, otherwise he will sell me one day without knowing. Oh my goodness. So you see, there are so many names over here, but due to time factor, I wouldn't want to encroach much of your time. But please, you see, I've got a lot of names and I can't necessarily read them all out to you. And as a matter of fact, I told you that the human name is an onomastic fulcrum, and where anthroponymic locals, where phoneme, grapheme, and psychosocial imprimatur conflate into a single sign. So get that and understand that we don't just give people names just like that. Any name that you intend to give it to your son or yourself, you must be prepared to bear the consequences of it. And as a matter of fact, so you see, Janet has a force, a negative force operating behind that name. You see? Nana J says, please, Papa, please, what is the meaning of those words? What words are you talking about? What words are you talking about, please? Is it what I just said or what? Oh my goodness. The onomastic or what? The onomastic fulcrum or the onomastic fulcrum. Well, let me spell it out for you. Onomastic. Check it out on the internet. You understand what I'm trying to mean. Fulcrum, Fulcrum. You check it out. Now, phoneme means phoneme. Now, the phoneme and the grapheme, it simply means how a name sound. How a name sound. Like when it comes to the Akan culture, where we have Akwasi, Kwabna, Kofi, the Kwasi, the Kwa sound. So the phoneme and the grapheme of a name simply means the sound, a single unit of sounds to which differentiates a word. So you see, Akwia, Adwa, Majwa, Akwia, Adwa, the phoneme and the grapheme, a single unit of sound that differentiates a word. So that is the meaning of it. So get that. And when we say imprimatur, go and check it. I can spell it out for you. Imprimatur. IMPRIMATUR. Go and check it out. If you want to learn English, pay me so that I can teach you, okay? Oh my goodness. Jennifer Pia Santi says, Papa, what about Sandra? Sandra. Oh my goodness. If I am to tell you the forces that operates behind the word Sandra, have you ever seen any Sandra who is not bad girl before? All the Sandys in the world are very bad girls, but sometimes because of the energy that is operating behind the name Sandra, it makes them slow and very quiet, but they are very bad behind the scenes. It's like the name Kennedy. The Kennedy names, which simply translate to a crooked head or a helmet head. Now, when you read deep down, you could see that they have cited circumstances, noting that once you bear the name Kennedy, it will make you behave in a way that you are good and better than everybody. And for that, you can't keep secret. That is the meaning of it. Now, when you cross-check John F. Kennedy, the reason why John F. Kennedy was assassinated was probably because he wanted to unleash a secret that has been held down for ages in the history of American politics. When you read it very carefully, that is the main reason why they actually took the life of John F. Kennedy in America. So compare the name Kennedy to other people who actually bears that name. They always they are in a haste to voice out certain things, making them look as if they are innocent and 100% good, more than everybody. But behind the scenes, there is something which also goes on. So the same thing also implies to what's the name? Sandra. Those people called Sandra, about 80% of them, when you meet them, they are very quiet, as if they have never seen or committed a crime before. But those people, they are very, very delicate, because of the name Sandra. Their appearance looks notoriously deceptive. So that's the nature of Sandra. Very bad ladies. Very, very bad ladies. That's how Sandy's people are. So please, if you have any question, you can as well leave it at the comment section. Time is fast spent, and I wouldn't love to encroach much of your time. I've got to go do something new and catch you same time on Sunday, exactly 8 o'clock p.m. to 9. So please, good night.